Hello, everyone. Welcome to Debunking Your Dumb Ass Theories series. We continue to debunk dumbass theories here. We have to be perpetually questioning what this wonderful genius of a mind we have is telling us, don't we? Wendy Pickett is here today. She is a confidence coach. She is a mother, a wife, an artist, a woman of the forest. She is many, many things. I am going to first let her introduce herself a bit, and then we'll learn a little bit about your history and how it is you got to this conversation right here, right now. Wendy, take it away.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here. Yes, I am all those things and so many things more. My story, where I came from, was I was an abused wife, turned into a single mother. My confidence and self-esteem was so low that my own mother didn't think that I should leave that toxic relationship because she didn't think I could even take care of myself. So fast forward, having gone through so much self-reflections, training, and becoming a life vision and a confidence coach, because I knew that where I was, I felt so alone and I didn't have really anybody to turn to. So I wanted to become that person that people could turn to. Quickly, the name Willow came from, of all things, I became a professional belly dancer. And
of course, that makes total sense to me.
Sure, somebody with low confidence, let's go put on like a belly dance costume.
Totally.
And go out there. But the name wasn't the typical name like Scheherazade or anything like that. And I chose Willow because although it looks like a very delicate tree, it's actually one of the strongest trees because it has a taproot that just goes deep down. And when the wind and the storm comes, it doesn't break. It bends and it dances in the face of adversity. And that's why I chose the name Willow. Turned around and bought myself a forest. Yes, I have a forest. I live in the redwoods of Northern California with 200-foot tall trees out here. And I can tell you that the willow tree will stand up longer and stronger than any of those 200-foot trees.
Wow. Is Willow part of the name of your business? Where do you use that?
It is. The name of my business is Willow in the Wood because I am the willow.
You are literally the willow, literally, figuratively, the willow in the wood.
Exactly. Beautiful. Thank you.
So you're really in a very particular niche, and it's a good niche for this conversation because people often come to us when they are, I've been saying this a lot lately. A lot of times people come to us because they just want to kick ass at a new level. But a lot of times people also come to Handheld Group because they want help getting out of something. They're actually too scared to get out of something. It could be a toxic job, a toxic relationship, beating their head against the wall with a narcissistic parent or love or friend. And it's so helpful to have someone to talk to who has been through, the worst, who has been through, like really, we can all agree, terrible circumstances and has climbed their way out of it. So I'm just curious if you could say that, what are the three tools, insights, program, like what were the three things that helped you the most climb out?
Number one was hiring my own life coach. You get to a point and you don't have anybody to ask these questions to. And I did my research for probably a year and a half before I hired my first life coach. And what I wanted to do was insane, basically. I wanted to learn how to invest in real estate. Yeah. And I thought I had everything in line, but I wasn't sure. So being able to go through the coaching process was really what was the biggest step for me.
That's number one. Give me 2 and 3. If you even remember, maybe it's a distant memory for you now.
Finding out that it's important for me to be myself and to stop conforming to everybody else. That was probably 2. And 3 is just putting myself in a position where I am continually improving my knowledge, my wisdom, my understanding, and following, I'm going to put 4 out there, following my passion.
Love it. It's so simpatico with the Handheld Method. And I remember also just years and years and years, I came to the Handheld Method as a client first, years of trying to just be good, look good, accomplish things, check boxes, look good on paper, get it done, thinking like eventually if I checked enough boxes, I'd feel happy and fulfilled. And I looked over at Lauren, who started the company, and she was happy and fulfilled. Same demographics as me, same resume, but like exuberantly living her passion and true to herself. And that I realized was the missing piece. And then she taught me the Handheld Method, personal integrity. And it took me years to even understand the reason she called it personal integrity is because it was personal to me. Like I had to figure out me. You and I can talk about your journey, my journey, but anyone who's listening, you have to figure out your personal truth about your areas of life. And no one can do it for you. We can only guide you, give you the exercises, help you interpret it, but you have to actually do that work. It sounds like that is exactly what you found in your journey.
It is, and it is the foundation of my coaching practice as well. We begin with people starting to understand who they are, what their strengths are, and what their gifts are. A lot of times the only thing that we see about ourselves are the bad things. We just discount all the good things that we have.
Studies, we love to quote this scientific study that says we have 12 to 60,000 thoughts a day, of which 80% are negative. That's just what we wake up. That's before a pandemic. That's just what we wake up into. I'd say it's probably up a little higher now, given the pandemic.
It is. It's actually something I was going to talk about today. I got a minimum of 70,000 thoughts that we have today.
You're advanced. You're part of the curve that supports the slower
curve. Yeah, the good curve, not the other one. Yeah.
So the main topic for today, where we're debunking theories, is regarding confidence and building confidence and battling self-doubt. And I've always been teaching, not always, I've recently, or if you call recent 10 years, been teaching the best antidote to building self-confidence is personal integrity, is knowing what you wish for, organizing your thoughts and plans around your highest ideals, and then organizing your actions to align with all three. Very personal type of thing, and that builds confidence. If your family didn't do it for you, if your past choices didn't do it for you, you can always take back the reins and do it for yourself. So one of the theories that you debunked, which I'm really so curious to hear what you have to say about it, is this thought that we are born with, like some people are just more confident than others. You're just born with it. So please speak to that.
So I'm going to say that some people may be born with more self-confidence, but for the most of us, that is not the case. And I think that in being able to become a confident person, the first thing that you have to understand is it can be taught. It is a skill. You can have tools that are going to bring you along that. Just like the first time that you learned how to put eyeliner on, or the first time that you learned how to drive, you were really crummy at it. I remember putting that eyeliner all over my face and like, oh dear, no, having to wash it off over and over again. But there are so many people who right now are, rock stars, superstars, and are just crushing it in their life. And they have admitted publicly that their confidence and self-esteem has just been very dismal. There's studies that show that there's 85% of women have very low confidence and self-esteem. So that being said, how do any of us actually break through of that? And, I want to give a couple examples here. Lady Gaga, Lady Gaga, she is amazing. Talk about a powerhouse of talent. She admitted to Glamour magazine that she had all those get-ups and those outfits so that she could hide behind them because she was so, uncomfortable with herself and her own skin. Right. People like Angelina Jolie, Jennifer Lopez, Oprah,
it's almost like the more famous they are, Wendy, the more issues they have.
Well, the thing is there's so many more of us, but we didn't get put in the tabloids, or we didn't get, interviewed by Glamour magazine. Right. But just to show you that these people who have gone on, and I believe even Steve Jobs is on that list, right, who have gone on to do amazing things in lives, they have low confidence. So, first understanding that it's possible. That's the point I want to get across here. It is possible. We've got the tools. We can teach you.
One of my favorite examples is good old Moses from the Bible.
Oh, yeah.
I'm forever enjoying the story of how he did this one brave act of defending his brother and killing a slave driver or hurting a slave driver, and then ran away to the desert. ran away, disappeared, took a burning bush to get him back. And all the way he suffered with confidence. He suffered with speaking. He needed his brother and his sister to help him. I mean, I just love, it's so classic. It's such a deeply embedded human drama that we have, that it's one of our quintessential Bible stories.
All through the Bible, they use people who you would not expect to stand up, and they overcame, and they did what they needed to do. And I just want everybody to know that no matter where you are in your life right now, you can step up and you can overcome. You just get the right training and the right tools.
Okay. So probably people are thinking, what do you mean by these tools? And again, if you could just give me like the top 3 tools succinctly of what, I'm sure with your clients, there's like greatest hits. What are the greatest hits?
Well, overcoming fear, that is absolutely number 1, because all of us are going to just be shaking in our boots whenever we have to do anything. I remember the first time that I did a Facebook Live, my camera was literally shaking. I was shaking. I kind of wish I had that video still, but I'm sure I deleted it. Like, nope, that's no good. That's out of here. But overcoming fear would be the biggest one, and we can do that. There's scientific tools on how to do that. Let's see, what else?
Just to tell you, one of the first assignments my coach gave me was literally to make a list of everything I was afraid of and then do one per week. So she had me jumping out of, sleeping outside, jumping out of airplanes, diving off a high, like just literally doing the thing that I was scared to do, which changed my life completely.
And you lived to
and
I lived to tell it.
And I'm still so proud of all those things that I did. It's remarkable.
That is
how
remarkable.
much that can change you.
But why would you jump out of a perfectly good airplane? I've just never gotten to understand that part.
It wasn't that great of an airplane.
Okay.
No, I did it to prove to myself I could. Right? We're repetitively thinking thoughts over and over again, proving to ourselves we are less than, not good enough, to this, to that. Why not decide who you want to be and then go seek to prove that with the particular actions that you can design?
Yeah.
Any other tools you want to talk about before we go to the next theory?
Just really quickly is learning how to refocus. We typically see like I said, the worst. I've heard the term disaster bait, which is hysterical, which is you tend to think the absolute worst is going to happen. There's a couple different tools that we have. You can reframe your way of thinking, and you can refocus, just like a photographer can refocus his camera. He can have a scene in his camera and then decide, I'm just going to focus on this part. We have the ability to choose what we're going to focus on. So those are 2 of the big ones.
Perfect. Love that. So great. Okay. Other debunked or theory I would like debunked is if you work harder, you will get there faster. This is one I'm so interested in having people consider and adopt.
And this is something we all do. And there's actually brain science behind why we do this. But people think that if I stay busy, I'm going to get lots done. Mm-hmm. But the truth is if we're not doing what are going to be the things that are going to move us forward in our life, towards our passion, towards our dreams, towards whatever it is that we want, we're going to basically just kind of be treading water. Even though you're treading water, you're moving, right? So you're busy. Or another great example is a rocking chair. You're in a rocking chair and you're moving, but you're not going anywhere.
Exactly. You can use doing as an addiction or a distraction like any other addiction or distraction, like TV or food.
Well, our brain's job is to keep us safe. And in order to keep us safe, it doesn't want us to do anything that's out of the norm. Anything. Mm-hmm. I mean, anything. Even if it's something that's going to increase our happiness and our life situation exponentially, our brain is going to go, nope, don't want to do that. So we're going to have physiological experiences as we go through that with our body. Personally, I feel like I'm being choked. If there's like a new computer program I have to work on, all of a sudden I feel like I'm being choked.
Right.
Other people might notice the tension, the sweaty palms, because what's happened is we've turned into our fight or flight reflex. So what happens is we want to do anything, and I mean anything else besides this thing
Right.
that we know is going to help us. It's all of a sudden you notice, well, gee, the carpet needs to be vacuumed. I should probably get right on that.
My inbox of my email needs to be at 0, and I definitely need to call that friend because they need me. And my children, oh boy, they really need me.
And that's the crux of it. You're staying busy. You know, you get to the end of your day and you go, God,
And you're like,
what did I accomplish?
I'm a good person. I did things.
What did I accomplish? You know, yeah. But the truth is if you could just spend 1 hour a day, super focused on that one thing that's going to get you through to the next level, that one thing for an hour, you could probably just blow it off and have a great time the rest of the day. If you did that one thing, you are going to far surpass what you would do if you stay busy.
Thank you. That's very 4-hour work week of you. I like it. I like it.
Oh,
I really like it.
Yeah.
I often tell people that I think that work is like a placebo, right? It's not, we get our dreams because we believe in our dreams and we take inspired action towards our dreams, but then all that other busy work, I understand why people do it. And I'm pretty into, having people work towards their dreams, but not because even that the work itself is the meaningful thing. It's that the doing the work makes you believe you can have it and think you can have it. So even the work itself to me is in some ways symbolic or placebo-like. And yet we are so brainwashed to believe that being busy equals success and doing the work equals the dream. Maybe it's a little more complicated than that.
It is. And the other thing, that if you're like me and you happen to have a bit of ADD going on, man, can we be busy? We're going to go here. We're going to do that. Oh, this needs to be done. And I remember my husband saying, look, if you're not going to finish a project, would you just not start it?
Radical. But again, to build self-esteem, finishing things is the best way to build self-esteem. Starting things and not finishing them, great way to diminish your self-esteem. So
yep.
Really
actually accomplishing goals instead of setting them and then not accomplishing them. Why is your brain going to want to set another goal when you failed at the other one?
Right, exactly. So that right stretch but doable creation of, we call it promises, is crucial. All right, so last theory to debunk, and this is really good because who's listening is people who love self-help, who love getting opinions, who love hearing from experts, who love collecting information, who love that. I frankly write at this moment because people are home more, they can listen to more, there's a lot more content available. I'm really trying to get people to use their self-help intelligently. But the theory is it's good to get the advice and help of others. Sounds right, Wendy, but go ahead and give us a nuance on that one.
Well, it sounds right. And I think it's probably the path that every one of us who has been into self-help and personal growth have adopted, right? I've got books sitting over here on my shelf. I could pull them out and, there's some great information. You too?
I mean, I literally just threw away 100 books, but you see, these are the ones I couldn't part with.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh, you're so organized too. So what I mean when I say this, it all comes back to what we talked about in square one about knowing yourself. And, you talked about how many thoughts we have per day. I want to put that kind of a little bit of a twist on that. So as I've said, we have, on average, and you said 60, I'm saying 70, let's meet in the middle and go 65,000 thoughts a day. So depending upon our age, we have had anywhere from, 100, I don't even know how many, hundreds of thousands to a billion thoughts, in our lives.
Yeah.
Now, we have also had experiences. And even though two people can be right in front of the same situation, they can watch the same conference, let's say, they're going to get different things out of it. So for anybody else to be able to tell you what you should do, and I don't like the word should. I had one coach say, people need to stop shooting on each other. I went, I like that. Every time we have a thought or an experience, we dig down deep into our subconscious thoughts, and we have certain beliefs and develop concepts about it based on our past. So when we ask advice from somebody who is not us, they're going to come from their programs. They're going to come from their past, their thoughts, their experiences, and they're going to, they may have the best intentions for you. But to tell you what you should do is really not applicable because they're not you.
Mm.
And we tend to spend our lives trying to conform to everybody else's desires and wishes for us. And this is just going to destroy us, the us who we are, in bringing out our natural gifts and, you know, running with what we've got to offer versus listening to everybody else's opinions about what we should or shouldn't do.
Right.
I mean, how many dreams are crushed because you told somebody something you were excited about and they went, oh, I'd never do that. Oh, you're gonna lose everything if you do that, right?
Right.
So trying to conform to other people's desires of what you should do can destroy you. However, if you,
There's the but.
I firmly believe that there is vast amounts of knowledge. You have people, you know, people that know what they're talking about and can give you bits of information that you can then integrate with who you are and your process and what it is that you want to do in life. And that's where I highly recommend that people seek out the help of coaches, because we're not consultants. Typically, I don't tell people what to do. I never tell people what to do. I draw out of them what it is that they want. That's what's important to them. And then help, again, draw out what it is that they believe is the right direction for them to go.
Gorgeous. Thank you. Wendy, thank you for your very calming energy. It's been lovely to be with you. Thank you for your scientific backing, right? You're speaking to my soul, my heart, and my body, and my mind, right? All of the things. So really appreciate that multifaceted approach. I know that we are going to put links in the notes for how people can be in touch. So thank you for supporting the people in your world and in our world with that fun discount, and for just engaging in a beautiful conversation about expanding how we think about building self-confidence. Is there anything else you want to add before we say goodbye?
I want to thank you so much for having me. It's been lovely. You know, sometimes you just sit down with somebody and you just have this connection, and I feel that way with you. I think that we could probably continue this conversation on for quite some time, and I look forward to keeping in touch. And thank you everybody for showing up. Remember to show up for yourself. You're worthy,
right? Even more important than showing up for your self-help gurus. Show up for yourself. Love it.
Yeah.
Beautiful way to end. Thank you so much, Wendy.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.